Hi there. So, customers that ordered their Triumph Bonneville bobbers several months ago are just starting to take delivery this week. And very fortunately for me, my local dealer, Hourglass Motorcycles, contacted me this evening. Jan, who's a great guy there and been there a long time, sent me an email saying that they're just putting on their Morello red bike as a demo bike, and I'm going to pop down there tomorrow morning, take it out for a little spin, and I'll shoot a little video and let you know how I get on. So it's February the 24th, it's a beautiful day, blue skies, sunshine, 70 degrees. God, I love Georgia. So we're here at Hourglass Motorcycles and to ride the bobber. Let's go and have some fun.
Thanks, sir. See you soon. What a beautiful day.
Yep.
Perfect.
Well, enjoy.
I will.
See you in a bit.
Thank you, John.
Okay, so first ride impressions. Well, let's start with my background, just to give you some context. I've been riding about 40 years. I authored an ebook thriller called 415. I'm a global moderator on some web forums. I presented safety talks, led a great many ride outs, been trained by the police, superbike riders, Dakar riders off-road. I've ridden at least 200, maybe 250 different models of motorcycles before. I've owned 31 bikes across all genres, race replicas, adventure bikes, cruisers, and I currently ride a Monster 1200R, which is fitted with Terminones and Rizoma bars, and it's quite a beast. And anyway, in terms of the bobber, not really faults, but some notable observations that may or may not bother you, depending on who you are and what you ride and what your preference is. Number one, in terms of sort of top 5 things to kind of accept when buying a bobber, would be practicality. Doesn't come with any pillion provision. There's nothing in the accessory catalogue in terms of pillion seats and pegs. I'm not sure the subframe has been designed to be strong enough to carry somebody on the back, so bear that in mind if that's important to you at all. If it's not, it's a weight saving, and of course it looks cool without the pillion stuff cluttering up the rear end. Next thing is range. It's probably better than most of its peers, like Sportster 48 for instance, but it doesn't have the biggest tank in the world. It looks cool and it suits the shape of the bike, the size, but you're probably going to be refueling about every 100 miles, I would guess. I would imagine that's when the low fuel light would come on, and probably by 125 miles or so you'll be pushing the thing. That's not really much better than my Ducati Monster, to be honest, and it's very much in line with a lot of other similar vehicles. Next thing is the seat. In the test reviews, it got very good reviews for all-day comfort, and I didn't get to ride it all day. I got it for sort of 30 minutes or so. Perfect conditions. It cups. It feels quite hard in the showroom, but it does cup you nicely, and it did feel very comfortable for those 30 minutes, much more comfortable than my Ducati. And but if you like to ride 250 miles a day or 300 miles a day or something, you might find that you want to switch it out for like a Corbin saddle or something like that at some point. But in the main, it felt good, and it obviously looks very good as well, that seat, and is adjustable a little bit in terms of fore and aft, and height on a linear, not on a linear scale as I originally thought. It's just kind of 2 positions. You can have it close to the tank, which brings the bars closer, but the seat's slightly higher, or you can have it back with the seat slightly lower and a longer reach to the bars. The seat itself is very low anyway, so even when it's in the forward position, it's low. I'm like 6'2", and I could effortlessly just step over the seat using the wrong side of the bike. So if you're short, I wouldn't sweat it. And unlike Harley Roadster, for instance, the foot pegs are in exactly the right position, so very easy to get your feet firmly planted on the ground. The front brake, that's the thing probably most criticised by the journalists in the reviews, and the front brake is, I would kind of say, adequate. It's by no means dangerous, but it's no means spectacular. Big caveat with that is my Ducati has M50 monoblock radials, which is just literally the top drawer thing you can put on any production bike at present, so that's one thing to bear in mind. The second thing is, because it's it's not a cruiser as such, but it lends itself well to the similarities in terms of a kind of slightly longer wheelbase, low centre of gravity, and that means you've got to use the rear brake much more than you would on a sports bike, where you're kind of braking 89% front. You're braking more 50-50, and the rear brake on the Triumph Bobber is really very good. Lots of feel. There's good feel through the front brake as well, to be fair, but I think you need to use them both with a decent kind of amount of effort if you want to haul it up in a true emergency. Having said that, points today, I was racing around on a thing like it's a sports bike, and it clearly isn't a sports bike. So there's a little bit of adjustment, and I don't want to overemphasize it too much, but that's probably the weakest point for the bike for me. I thought it could be improved with some braided hoses, but it looks like the braided hoses are actually standard, and the hoses are kind of plastic wrapped to make them look like they're just regular rubber hoses. But I think a change of pad for sintered pads would help. And also the bike I rode was absolutely brand new, and again, even 50, 100 miles with a few emergency stops will bed in those pads nicely. And a lot of the guys riding the bikes, particularly non-journalists, find the brakes just fine. So if that point bothers you at all, I'd say ride the demo. But for most people, it wouldn't bother them, and I can certainly adjust my riding style and live with that. Next thing is ground clearance. Again, the bike handles superbly, actually really good, and you'll find that in all the tests, reviews, whether it's a video or a journalist in a magazine. And I was very impressed with the lightweight handling, the steering, the ride quality and so forth. And but if you're the sort of rider that's done track days like I have, and can get your knee down and all that kind of jazz, even though it's not relevant to this type of bike and this type of genre, chances are you're able to lean the bike over a decent way without worrying about it. And if you start throwing it around like a race replica, you're definitely going to run out of ground clearance. It's not remotely scary. I ground it out on with both pegs, and the foot pegs have a decent little bolt at the end of them. When that touches down, it's just a little noise, and there's no drama, there's no digging in. The pegs are on pivots, so they pivot upwards, and they just tend to kiss the tarmac for a couple of seconds, and you're good to go. Again, not a big deal, not part of the genre. Probably 80-90% of people ride it may not ever experience that, or rarely experience that, and it's just not really a problem when you do. I find it quite enjoyable, so I'd probably fit some titanium bolts on the end and watch the sparks fly, but the hero blobs, or feelers as we call them here in America, are quite short. It's quite a short hero blob. I think Triumph realised if they raise the pegs, you're short of knee movement, becomes more cramped than if you put long feelers at the end of the pegs. They're going to be grinding out everywhere. So they're quite short, but it is what it is. You can throw it around fair speed. I would say in a normal ride out with most people, you're not going to have a problem. You're going to be able to stay up with most bikes. But if the guys you ride with are like on Practicalities and M1s and so forth, you're going to run out of ground clearance. But different types of bikes with different types of riders and different types of uses. So generally within remit, not really a problem. Stuff that's really on the money, the top kind of 5 things to cherish as a bobber owner, I'd say, is the engine. Wow, what a great engine! It's may only be kind of just shy of 80 horsepower and 80 torques, but it's got a great turn of speed, revs up quickly and cleanly. Gearing's great, so it accelerates quickly, and it sounds great. It's got a really nice gruff sound to it. Actually, at tickover, it's got a slight whistle, almost like the triple. But as you rev it, it's got a nice deep bellow to it, yet it's not loud and obtrusive. Turbononis and my Ducati are just way too loud. I like loud bikes, but I have to wear earplugs, and they're too loud with earplugs in. Yet the stop pipe was just so quiet. I don't think anybody would have heard you. So I felt kind of obliged to change them. On the Triumph, I would just leave them totally stopped. I wouldn't bother with the Vance and Hines upgrade. I think the Vance and Hines are street legal anyway, so you're probably not likely to increase sound very much. Stop pipes look fantastic and they sound great. You get a nice deep bellow at low revs, and they're not particularly loud at cruising speed. And I was able to ride without earplugs yesterday, and it just felt great, and what you could hear was great, and I think they got that right. clutch, I think it's effort assist clutch, which doesn't mean it's a slipper clutch. You can't bang it down the box and hope the clutch will save you. But it is reduced effort, so the lever pull is very, very lightweight. It's also got a span adjuster, which helps people. We've all got different size hands. You've got big hands, like I've got like a soccer goalie's hands. You can adjust it, and if you've got petite hands and you're a small lady, for instance, you'll be able to find an adjustment that suits you in terms of the biting point on the clutch. And it's got a nice light actuation, very easy to use. Third thing is the gearbox. Again, light effort, no missed gears, and all the gears snuck into place snickety-boo. So good one there, Triumph. Fourth thing is really the ride quality. Is really pretty good, all things considered. You know, there's always going to be some compromise with that kind of horizontal rear shock, but the forks are absolutely brilliant. They look like there's something out the 70s or 80s, but the internals are absolutely bang on. No complaints whatsoever. I actually prefer them to my Olin setup on my Ducati, which is quite praise indeed. And the rear shock is pretty decent as well. I didn't have that bottom out even when I hit a pothole. It felt very firm. You know, it was getting close to the end of the lever, to the end of the shock travel, but it held good. And I'm quite a heavy guy, so I think that was pretty good as well. Seat was pretty good. Grip is excellent. They've got Avon tyres. They work superbly. They warm up really quickly. They give bags of confidence. And even though I touched down the pegs on each side, when I got back and looked at the tyres, there's like 3/4 of an inch, half an inch or something spare of unused tread on both front and rear tyres on both sides. So unless you've ripped off the foot pegs with some kind of Rossi Marquez type move, you've got bags of ground clearance, and that's sometimes reassuring to know that if everything isn't grinding out, you can lean it over much further in terms of emergency, avoiding a car or whatever. And the whole bike has a very lightweight feel. It's very low steering effort. It's on paper it's heavier than my bike, but it feels much lighter, just because all that weight is very low down. And sometimes having weight low down can still be heavy. Like a Harley still feels heavy at standstill. It's great rolling generally, unless you have to change line mid-corner in emergency, a big Harley, but at standstill you still feel those pounds because Harleys carry their weight pretty high. This doesn't. This carries it really low. It's a proper bobber, and I love it for that. It really feels, it might as well be 160 kilo dry and 180 wet or something, rather than the 240 or whatever it is wet, because it really just genuinely feels like a sub 200 kilo wet bike, and very easy to push around. So particularly good for those kind of vertically challenged people, if you like, and ladies, and those with some kind of disability that when you've got to push a bike around a gas station forecourt or simply out your garage for the day, it's those kind of things help. It's good. So ergonomics wise was very good as well. The sort of bar peg seat triangle, very, very good, and the switchgear mirrors also excellent as well. So they've got all the right stuff nailed really. What else? Other stuff you'll like, I think, includes traction control and ABS as standard. The info button toggles revs, range, mile per gallon, trips and time. The fueling is pretty perfect. No surging, no lag. Very smooth indeed. The gated forks look period, but they provide an excellent ride. The odometer looks nice, it adjusts easily, and it's very clear to read. The knee and foot comfort is good. The bars have a nice width and distance to reach to them. Feet up U-turns, figure eights were very easy. I did quite a few of those before I set off on my trip. It's pretty meaty and unobtrusive sound. No earplugs required. Great use of kind of brush, polish, chrome and painted areas. I believe the brushed covers, the engine covers, are not covered under warranty if they if the salt get at them, so that's one thing to bear in mind. But they look great and they're pretty easy to clean, and if you are going to ride it on salty roads, put some AC50 on it beforehand. Fit and finish is good, thoughtful details throughout, and I think if Steve McQueen was still alive, he'd definitely have a Triumph Scrambler and a Triumph Bobber in his garage. So that's it really. I'll leave you with a few photos I took and a summary of my observations, and I hope to produce many more videos like this moving forward. So if you've enjoyed this video, please check out my other ride-on videos, and please subscribe to my channel, and ride safely, ride often, ride on.